Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about hypergamy. Hypergamy. Okay, hyper being above and beyond of, and gamy being ready for reproduction. So, essentially, hypergamy is a reference to seeking a mate which is better than you, above and beyond you. Usually this is in reference to women because their dating habits, and certainly it is a genetic strength to be seeking a mate who is stronger, wealthier, and more able to secure what is required for the stable home and providence that allows for a healthy progeny or procreation. Right, we've got two scales here. Let's just mark them a bit. On the x-axis, it's the hot scale. On the y-axis, it is the wealth scale. And that is actually it's more accurately defined as productivity and sharing. Simply because wealth comes and goes, and what we need to see is continued productivity and the ability to provide and share. And it's more fair on the rest of us. Otherwise, the graph is so skewed for the super rich that, well, it doesn't look good for the rest of us. So we can actually draw a bell curve here that skews slightly below 5. It's sort of what I mean there. It's not the best drawing. Now, on the aesthetics, the hot scale, women are very hard on men. So the skew actually goes way down here. That means the average is way down around 3, which is pretty rough. Let's say let's say it's 3 point something. And that way we can say that the point where women get their heads turned is when a man is judged to be a 6. We can cut off everything below that. A woman's head is not turning. They are not interested. You're not hot enough to turn their heads and get their attention. That's actually going to be about, this only leaves, say, 30. If this is one standard deviation, so that'd be 33%. We'll say it's about 30%. So this area that's left is only 30% of men. And then you have who's poor, really. Who's getting an income? This is 5, this is 2.5, this is 2. So the lower end of the income, the poor, the bums, the moochers, the ones who are sponging off you and eating from your fridge when you take them home. You don't want to be dating them. So you can tell them by the way they dress and the way they carry themselves. So they're easy to rule out as well. Even if they are attractive, you don't want to be considering them for mating. Now, if we rule them out, we've got 30. That's conservative. I mean, this is conservative. Probably it's less than this. You have your unicorns at the top here. This rich section. Unicorns. So this is 30%. It's no longer 30%. It's actually minus this chunk here, which is this little bit. So it's more like 25. We'll say 25. That's generous. I'm being generous here. Most people say that's 20%. However, it gets worse because here is the average wealth. You don't want to be mating with somebody who's below average wealth because you're comparing them to your neighbors. This is your friends with benefits area. Man, that's rough. So we're going to cut out the friends with benefits and not suitable for mating. This is the marry zone here. You're going to shack up with people in this zone. This is your magic. This is your zone. Now, if you're a gold digger, you might want to go for these ones. These really rich people. Doesn't matter what they look like. We're going to ignore that. You've got your, down here, you've got your friend zone here. There's people that are going to be friends, as long as they're not too ugly. I'll cut out them, not them, not them. So it's your friend zone here. your friends with benefits, so you need to date them to find out. But basically, this area here, this is going to be about, of the 30, 15, minus, it's going to be about 10. So actually, this area here becomes around 15%. So you can see how the average, or like people would say 20% because they're merging those figures. But basically, there's 15% of men. And you just use a bit of dating and shit testing to find out where they stand. And once you've determined that, you keep on looking, keep on trying until you find the best man you can get, and you work your way up. And that's hypergamy explained. You want to get the best you can. All seems a little bit unfair on men. Seems very hard. There's a lot of guys who are going to miss out on any attention. Let's look at what men will do. Okay, well, it's not really hypergamy because they're not trading up. I'll show you what I mean. Men will turn their heads at a woman who's a 4. See, men have genetic predisposition to try and spread their seed wherever they can. Now, this is not a rule, it's just a trend. And it makes sense. If you don't have to, well, we don't have to carry the children, or men, I say, necessarily. It's a modern world, of course, but historically the men didn't need to carry the children. So there was less at stake, and they could spread their seed. So who knows what this is referencing in terms of conquest and all of that. And over here, and that's the hotness, of course, and on the Y scale, it's actually crazy. And there's a 10, and there's a direct correlation. So you can tolerate a 10 crazy as long as they're a 10 hot. You can't tolerate a 9 crazy if they're only a 6 hot. See? So this is the danger zone, and this is the have fun zone. The fun zone. I guess if there was hypergamy, then the man would say if he was a 6, then he would only date women more attractive, but it's not the case. So that's why hypergamy is usually used in reference to women. Now this looks pretty good. This is actually 45% of the sexual market, because men have a normal distribution for their judgment of women. Hopefully that explains a lot. This is men. Yeah, good luck finding the most suitable mate. Hope you enjoyed this and found it informative and hopefully amusing.